Well, here he played against Polugaevsky. Polugaevsky already in that time was considered one of the most promising young Soviet grandmasters, and he played almost in every important game Sicilian with black. So therefore, the game will be very spectacular because later on, um Polugaevsky was well known for his variation in Sicilian in Najdorf. I mean, he had some very long analyses, very good ones, and he was one of the best players for black in Sicilian. And therefore, the game is very important because Tal was well known for his attacking style. So we'll have our game here. We'll see what happens later
Yeah.
on. You see.
So it's similar like the one before, but no.
Similar was the difference was that black played the normal variation here without queen b6 and queen takes b2. I mean, accepting all these complications. Well, this is more or less a normal game in Sicilian, in neither. But also very important to see what happens in every move. Is almost decisive. Move order is very important. If black makes 2, 3 small mistakes, not the best moves ever, then the game it's always very difficult because gives white possibility to sacrifice something. We'll see. Like always in Sicilian, it's like the same.
What?
So okay, here in this move order, black plays normally with you have to play e6 first. You see, e6, bishop e7. Knight bd7 is more complicated and completely different. Okay, so now queen a5 is another variation. You see, now move order, as I told you before, very important. Now the best move is queen d2 after queen a5. Okay, queen d2. Now e6, and now white has to choose castle long side or castle normal, on the other side, king side. Okay, so he played castle. And here, bishop e7. Now
Uh,
is
uh,
probably the first important moment. After castle, black can play here,
yes.
h6, bishop h4, you know, g5, bishop g3, and knight e5. Okay, different. But this is a little bit unclear because the idea for black is to play later on. You see, bishop e7, bishop d7, long castle. This is the idea for black. See. Meantime, white has to react somehow and see what happens. Or maybe if black has a difficult position somehow, he stays with the king in e8 without castling. You see, this is theory again. You see.
But here for white,
But
uh,
here,
uh,
if white takes in one moment in f6 is always not so good because you don't give the black bishop against the knight, you see. If you give this strong bishop, you don't have too much.
but
Yeah.
can he also castle long? I mean, what is that? Is there any
If he
difference?
castles long,
Yeah.
somehow later on, black comes very quickly with b5 and b4. You see,
Ah,
this
okay.
counterplay for black. But it's move by move all the time, I tell you. And black has to be very careful not to allow in one moment knight d5 or bishop d5, the sacrifice of one piece for very strong initiative in d5. If this is possible, it's always winning for white. You see, we'll explain later. So e6. Therefore, move order is very important. The first, as always in Sicilian, if you survive with black the first 15, 20 moves, then everything is okay. If you don't play the best moves, you can have a miniature. You can lose very quickly with black. You see, so that happens always in Sicilian. So okay, e6, bishop e7. Okay, after bishop e7, it starts. He plays now rook a d1. The second important moment. Now, a big mistake is to castle immediately.
Yes.
After castle immediately, black is almost lost in one move after knight d5. Now, the only move is to go back to d8. And then you lose you can trade the very important bishop from e7, and the position is already very bad for black because you have two bishops to white, very strong attack, and the pawn from d6 is almost lost immediately, you see. So therefore the position is very bad.
So
If you take in d2, then you lose at least one piece with tempo. After knight takes e7 check, and it's finished. You can resign. Queen takes d2, wins immediately for white. You see. So
yeah,
rook a d1, and now he played knight c5. Okay, knight c5, and here you have to continue with white. What to do? So he played again. Tal played very strong move. Rook e1. He waits. You see. And now bishop d7. And after bishop d7, a3. Now, before and now, black could take in e4, trading a few pieces, you see.
and e4.
Yeah, even here, he can take in e4, but it's not good. I mean, here he can take in e4.
Here can take on e4.
Yeah,
Okay. No, or the other.
well, without the knight. Without the knight, yes. Now what can you do?
Take this
You
one.
have to, yeah, you have to take. Now you have to you take the queen. No, now he can take with the rook. I mean, even if he takes with the rook, is very good for white. You know. Pardon. Excuse me. With he can play with. He can take back with the bishop. You know, with the bishop, and now he takes in e4. Yeah,
Okay.
he takes in e4, and now you can play like this. You know, now you can take with the bishop in d5. He takes with the pawn, rook back somewhere. You know, and now the only move is in e1 is even better. But
You want?
okay, in e2 is all right. In e2. Now
Okay.
you have to move the king, because if you castle, you lose a piece. You know, you have to play rook, king f8. And now after king f8, bishop b4 gives a very strong initiative for white. Now you have to trade, and you have a fantastic position for white with the knight in d4 against a very weak bishop from d7. This is strategically, white is almost winning here. You know. So it was not good to take in e4, of course. So you have to go back with the queen, you see. All right, so a3, now queen c7 is move by move, you see. And now, again, you have to play very quickly with white, to do something very quickly, you see. Now again, very, very tactical position. He played there. Now again, he could take in e4. If he takes in e4, look, very, very strong position for white. No,
E4. Like this. You mean?
uh, No. Instead of knight a4, he could play knight takes e4.
Okay.
Yeah. And after knight takes e4, he can take, queen takes c4. It seems that black won a pawn, somehow. See here. Queen takes c4.
Yes.
Okay, so he is pawn
Yes.
up here,
Yes.
black.
Yeah.
But now he's lost again. You see, bishop takes f6. You have to take only with the pawn, because if you take with the bishop, you lose the queen after knight takes d6 check, you see. And now look what a move. Very, very logical, but that wins very quickly, probably for white. Knight f5. Knight f5. If you take in f5, you lose the queen.
Ah.
If you don't lose, if you play something else, again you are lost with black. You see. Very beautiful, but very simple. You see.
Yeah.
Well, knight d6, and you can resign.
Yeah.
So right, so he placed probably the best move, knight a4, and now he took, and now again he gives a piece, for very strong initiative. He took. Now queen takes c2. Now again very strong. He doesn't take first in g7. He waits a little bit, but the attack continues.
In
So
G7.
queen d4. Yeah, this is much better. Queen d4 immediately. Everything comes with tempo, because the attack is there. I mean, he continues the attack. Yeah.
Here. You mean here?
Yeah, he
Yes.
could take immediately, but that is much better. Queen d4. Yeah. So right, the game was commented by Tal himself. I mean, he showed how to do it. So okay, queen d4, and now king f7. Now rook c1 with tempo. Now the queen must go away. No, and now again with tempo e5. Look at the position. He gave a piece for initiative. Black has piece up. Here. He's piece up, but he has to be very careful because he's almost in
Yeah.
every move. Dangerous to lose immediately.
Also, the rooks don't play,
No, the rook
and the king is
come
here.
into play. I mean, it's not lost. The position is very complicated here because he's piece up. With black.
Yeah.
One move which is wrong, it's enough for black to
Win.
to win maybe, because it has material. I mean, one piece is much by this high level. So the attack continues. And now look what the move. I mean, black has a small hope to trade a few pieces. I mean, he gives back the piece, hoping that everything will be okay. I mean, maybe he can resist. Coming into play with his pieces, from H8, from A8, and so on. And now look what the move. Queen takes F2 check.
Oh, by black?
By black, yeah. Because now it's possible to trade a few pieces, as I told you before,
Oh, nice.
It seems that against Tal it's okay. I mean, if you can trade a few pieces, you have a very good hope with
Okay.
just 2-3 pieces on board to avoid mate or, very strong attack. And everything is forced and the attack continues. This is unbelievable, we'll see. It's very easy to see, but it's very nice to see. So now
So he give back the piece.
He gave back the piece, but now he can trade again another piece.
Yeah.
So and now after this check, well, if white has something very quickly, white has a good chance of winning. If black has one tempo, it's enough to
Make a draw.
to
Maybe.
make a draw, to have an even game or a
Yeah.
very complicated game where at least you are not mate on the board. I mean, with queen and many pieces, it's very dangerous. Here you have a good hope to resist, maybe, But it's not very easy to resist because you have very good attacking chances, even with two rooks and knight, because everything, is possible because white has a very strong initiative.
And the king is alone
And
here.
the king is in a dangerous position still, you see. So it seems, okay, rook check, rook e8, the best defense. Now the rook comes back, and now we threaten to come with the other rook and give one check in one moment, and probably enough to have a very strong initiative. Rook c8. Now he played rook f1. Now everything is prepared to give rook g3 check with very good attacking chances.
Yeah. But here wasn't better maybe this king to come this way and escape like this instead of rook c8.
No, if he goes back there,
Yes.
I mean, rook takes rook f7. Now rook c7 check wins. And
okay.
what to do? If he gives one check in g7, it's finished.
Yes.
So right, and the rook e7 loses the rook. He takes in e7 and then knight c7 check, and you lose the rook from a8. You see. So okay, rook c8 now, but it seems that now black has a counterplay, very strong counterplay. You see. So okay, after rook f1, bishop e5, excellent move, defensive move, and it seems that black, is all right,
Stabilized.
almost all right, almost
Yes.
all right. And now comes the first surprise. Rook g3 check. Good coordination. Even here, white attacks and counterattacks, in the same time. And now the best move, proposing a winning endgame for white, is knight takes g7. Now, if black takes in f1, you have the winning endgame for white. You see, knight takes g7, bishop takes, knight takes e8, rook takes e8, king takes f1,
No.
winning endgame.
So rook knight takes here.
Yeah, he takes in e8,
Okay.
and king takes f1, and the endgame is winning for white because white has pawn up. The king is pinned. I mean, is cut. Cut king h6, and every endgame is completely winning for white. I mean, he comes with the king, and it's finished.
Yeah.
All right. So he didn't accept to play the endgame, and he continued this kind of position. And here, the game continues, tactically. And what happens? Rook e1, everything on black, you see, all the time. And now again, that's very quiet move, but it's enough to win because in any position, white has time to go away with the king in h2. And the attack is too strong. I mean, two rooks and knight against the king is much too much. Now the best counterplay is to play rook c2 to do something. I mean, he wants to come later on with the bishop in c6, attacking probably in g2 or some,
Yeah,
some chances.
but maybe it's too slow.
But it's too late. Now rook e4 threatens mate in one, So rook c4, the only move. Rook e5. Before here, rook e5 won immediately instead of rook e4. But okay, it was time trouble. So he played like this, rook c4 and rook e5. Now threatens knight f5 check and rook h5 mate in the same time,
Yeah.
So the only move check in c1, king h2, and now Black resigned, I think, no? Or what?
Yes,
Yeah,
resigned.
he resigned
Yes.
because he's
No defense.
Yeah, it's too much. Fantastic game again,
Yeah.
Man, but Black played also very nicely. I mean, he gave back the queen.
Yes.
I mean, he could trade some pieces. He could defend in one moment very well, but it wasn't enough because the initiative was much too strong, you see.
Because it was Tal.
And it was Tal, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gheorghiu.
Beautiful game again. Fantastic game.
True.
Against a very strong opponent, because I tell you, Polugaevsky, he could beat everyone. I mean, he had victories against every strong master of the world.
Okay. Thank you.
Beautiful. Sicilian, in Sicilian, I told you, in any position, everything is possible, especially with White, because White has the initiative in the opening, in middle game, and so on. If you resist in good conditions, 20 moves, 25 moves, everything is more or less all right,
For Black.
For Black. If not, it's very dangerous,
Okay.
Yeah.